Done.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today we will start with a new concept is basically scope of variables. Scope of variables. Now, what is the scope? Right? Scope generally means, right, how long is the life of a variable? Okay, or where from where can the variable be accessed? Basically, scope here means access. Scope here means access. Okay, now in the scope of variables, there are two kinds of variables when I'm talking about scope. There is a global variable. Another one is local variable. Global variable, local variable. Now, what is a global variable? What is a global variable? What is a global variable? Any variable defined, any variable declared outside the function. Any variable declared outside function. Any variable declared outside a function is global variable, right? Global variables can be accessed, from anywhere in the file, from anywhere. That is outside functions, also inside functions. Okay, outside function as well as inside functions. Now, local variable. Local variable, simple. Any variable declared inside function is local variable. You see the difference here? For global, outside the function. For local, it is inside the function. Right? Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So global variables can be accessed from anywhere, that is outside functions and also inside functions. But local variables can be accessed only within functions. Within functions. Life of a local variable is, right? It gets created when the function execution during the function execution, it gets destroyed once the function execution is completed. Once the function execution is completed. So the life of a local variable is only within the function. It gets created and destroyed in the function itself. When we call a function, it gets created. When the function execution is completed, it gets destroyed. Okay, now let us look at some examples for the local and global variables. Now, right, you have to tell me what is a global variable and what is, I'll write a program here, a simple program. You have to tell me what is a local variable and what is a global variable. Okay, now a is equal to 10 and I'm going to define a function def scope b is equal to 40, print a, print b. Now in this function, which is a local variable, which is a global variable?
A is a global variable, B is a local variable.
Right. Any variable declared outside the function is
Global variable.
global. Any variable declared inside a function is
Local
Local variable.
variable.
local
Local
variable.
variable.
Okay. Now outside also what I will say is print a and then I will try to say print b. Okay. Now tell me what should be the, I'm going to call this function. I'm going to call this function. After that, I'm going to say print a and I'm going to say print b. Now, what will be the output of this?
Ten.
Okay. Give me the output for this.
Ten and 40, sir.
Okay, then 10 and 40 is correct. It's still. Everybody.
10, 40, 10.
Okay, so what this, when I call this function gets called. Here we are declaring a variable called b and we are saying print a, which is going to print 10. We are going to say print b, which is going to print 40. And after that, I'm going to still, after this function execution is completed, then the code moves further. So here we are saying print a, which will print 10 and I'm going to print b. Will it print 40? What is the scope of a local variable? It's get created when the function is being executed and destroys once the execution is completed. So by the time you go further, the local variable is no more accessible. The local variable is no more accessible. So print a, well, it is a global variable. I can access it outside or inside a function. So well, it works. Now print b, here it throws name error. It throws name error. Right? It throws name error. This is a error because local variables can be accessed only within the functions. Local variables can be accessed only within the function. Okay, let me just try doing this way. Okay, let us try this way. Right now, I'm going to say a is equal to 10. Perfect. Def test. I'm going to say print or else let me just say now A is equal to 50, print A, okay, print A. I'm calling the function test, and then in the last I'm going to say print A. Now what will be the value here? What will be the output? What will be the output?
Print
What
A
will
is
be the
10,
output?
10,
10, 50.
50, 10.
10, 50, 10.
10.
Why not 50 here? Because you're modifying the variable.
We can modify, but it is global variable.
Right, here is your global variable. Here also you said print earlier here in this example, print A means you're able to access global variable. Yes, now with the same name as a global variable, you are basically assigning a value called 50. Now, does it change the global variable? Does it change the value of a global variable A? This answer is perfect. This answer is correct. This answer is correct. Now to explain how. Right?
We have
So,
global variable A, so
right,
it considered the value as 10.
This is perfect. The first one is where we said print A prints 10. Now I called function test. Now here he said A is equal to 50 and we said print A. Now A is changed to what? 50. Then done. Now again when I say print A, you said 10. But why not 50 is my question. You did modify, right?
Yes, sir.
So okay, so here the catch is that, okay, the catch is that when you are calling this function test, okay, and when you have a variable same name as a global variable, and when you assign, right, it would not impact the global variable. It would not impact the global variable. From within the function you can access, for sure you can access, but cannot directly modify. Cannot directly modify. You can modify, there is a way for it, but this would not modify the global variable. This would not modify the global variable. Rather, it creates a local variable called as A and assigns a value to it as 50. Okay. And then when we say print A, it prints 50. And this would be treated as a local variable. This would be treated as a local variable. And then local variable's life is what? It gets created when we call a function, gets destroyed once the function execution is completed. And that's it. There we go, right? And this impact is not there on the global variable. And when I say print A outside the function, it would go access what is there in the global variable. It is still 10 and it prints 10. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. Same thing we'll try now. So def A is equal to 10 test. Okay. Now what I'm saying is I want to modify the global variable. So if I have to modify the global variable, I have to use a particular approach. What do you mean by that? I will use a keyword called global. I'll use a keyword called global and I say A. I'm getting this global variable to be modified within the function, to be modified within the function. Now this function can modify this global variable. This function can modify the global variable. Now I say A is equal to 50. And if I say print A, and when I call the function, I'm going to say print A, and I'm going to call the function, and I'm going to say print A. So now tell me the output.
10,
Okay.
10,
50,
50,
Okay.
50.
50.
This will also make 50. Why? See, the only difference between the previous program and this is that in the previous program, we did not use this keyword called global,
Global.
right? This global keyword helps us modify global variables. Helps us modify the global variables. When I say global A, now if I use the same variable name here, which means it is nothing but the global variable A, not a local anymore. If I'm using A anywhere in this function, which means it is a global variable, which means it is a global variable. Clear?
Clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And hence you get this output as 10, 50, and 50. Okay, that's pretty much about the scope of a variables. So there are two kinds of variables, local variable and a global variable. Global variable is a function, variable that is declared outside the function. Okay, global variables can be accessed from anywhere, that is outside the function or also inside the function. Now, any variable declared inside a function is called what? Local variable. And any variable that is local is basically the life of that variable is it gets created within the function and dies within the function itself. So it gets created at the time of the function execution and gets destroyed at the once the function execution is completed. Once the function execution is completed. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
These are all the
Yes, sir.
examples that we have seen. Now we'll just quickly look at the practical thing here. Right. All right. So A is equal to 10. Def test. Right. A is equal to 50. Print A. Right. Print A. I'm going to call the test function print A. Right. So if we execute this, it is 10, 50, 10. Right, but this did not impact the global variable. But if I want this to be impacting the global variable, I have to bring that global variable into the local scope by saying global A. So thereafter, any A that I use here is nothing but a global A, but not local. So now if I re-execute this, it is going to be 10, 50, 50. Are we clear?
Clear, sir.
Clear,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. All right. So with this, we have completed the scopes. We have completed the scope. So tell me what all we have completed so far. What are the different topics that we have completed so far?
Introduction to
Right, intro to computer science and programming. Right, then
numbers,
numbers, then strings,
string,
then control
control,
structures, then
loop,
loops, then functions.
functions.
Right, so here loops, what all we did? We did for loop, we did while loop, right? Control if, elif, else. In functions we have seen scope, we have seen parameterize, right? We have seen what are the other type? Positional argument and keyword argument, right? And we have seen return. Yeah. So we have seen this much so far. So which means I can say your 40% of the Python class is done. 40% of Python class is done. So remaining is 60%. Okay. We will see as we proceed further. But how confident are you as far as these things are considered? These concepts are considered. How confident are you? Like, if you have to rate yourself for 5, how much will you rate yourself? Right? You should practice so much that you should rate yourself as 5 on these concepts. Like, I'm pretty confident on these concepts. Ask me anywhere, I'm going to answer. Ask me anything, I'll write a program. You should get to that level where without a fear, you can say like, give me anything, I'm going to solve it for you. Right? Am I clear? Practice well.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.